A new poll just dropped that has Donald Trump and establishment Democrats shaking in their boots, and it all has to do with Zohran Mamdani. Let's get into the first clip.
Just 8 weeks to go now until Election Day. A new poll appears to really solidify Zohran Mamdani as the clear frontrunner in the race for mayor of New York. The New York Times CNN poll puts him 22 points ahead of former Governor Cuomo. Republican candidate Curtis Sliwa and current Mayor Adams are running a distant third and fourth. And despite their presence, Mr. Cuomo maintains this is really a two-candidate race between him and Mamdani. Eyewitness News reporter N.J. Burkett live at City Hall with a deeper dive into this most recent poll and, of course, the reaction to it all tonight. N.J.?
That's right, Mike. The former governor told me this afternoon that he believes he can win even if nobody drops out. That may be wishful thinking because if this poll is accurate, the Democratic frontrunner finds himself in a very good place.
Obviously, this poll is concerning for Cuomo, Adams, and Sliwa because it has Zohran with a very commanding lead. It's going to be concerning for establishment Democrats as well. And Donald Trump, a clip we have of him later talking about how concerned he is with Zohran Mamdani potentially becoming the mayor of New York City. But they should be looking at the specific issues as well, because not only is he leading in terms of his likelihood to become the next mayor, he's leading on the issues. Let's look at this poll right here. Affordability, crime, dealing with the Trump administration, housing, taxes and spending, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. These are all issues where Zohran Mamdani has the confidence of New Yorkers more so than anyone else running in this election. Now, there are reports coming out that if the other candidates, particularly Sliwa and Adams, were to drop out, then Cuomo stands a better chance. But this new polling is saying that even if that were to be the case, Zohran Mamdani probably comes out with a victory here. And that's because not only, again, is he leading in terms of who is right now generally predicted to win the election, not only is he leading on these 6 issues that we point out here, he's also leading with specific demographics and the 5 boroughs. Let's look at this right here. So, as we can see across a slew of different categories, Zohran Mamdani is more favorable than not. The only category where he really seems to be not gaining a lot of favorability, and that's not demonstrated here, is with voters above the age of 60. Everyone else seems to have a favorable perspective of Zohran Mamdani. That is also up for Black or African American voters. Previously, they seem to have a more unfavorable perspective of him, but as we can see, his net favorability has gone up even in that category. So this spells a lot of concern for anyone that is looking to steal this election away from Zohran, because he seems to be doing very well. Again, even in 4 out of the 5 boroughs, Zohran Mamdani is predicted to be more favorable than not favorable, which is why he has such a commanding lead. So we have to ask, beyond his social media strategy, is there something appealing about his platform? Is there something appealing about the way that he is speaking about issues? And the sentiment right now coming out of New York is that the answer is yes. Zohran Mamdani appears to be not just talking about the issues in a way that appeals to New Yorkers, but talking about issues that New Yorkers weren't even aware of. This next clip demonstrates exactly what we're talking about here, a fresh, new way to address a concern that New Yorkers didn't even know that they had.
The World Cup's coming to New York next year, and as a lifelong soccer fan, I couldn't be more excited. But are any working class New Yorkers actually going to be able to watch the matches? Pre-sale starts tomorrow, and for the first time, FIFA is using dynamic pricing, where they're going to figure out in real time how much they can get away with for charging a ticket. The tickets can be resold on an official FIFA platform with no price cap. That means you could buy a ticket for $60 and sell it for $6,000. And unlike the last 3 World Cups, there's nothing set aside for residents. What this all means is the biggest sporting event in the world is happening in your backyard, and you'll be priced out of it. That's why I'm calling all soccer fans to go to zohranfornyc.com/GameOverGreed to demand FIFA and dynamic pricing. Place a cap on resale prices and set aside 15% of tickets for local residents at a discount. Let's call this price gouging what it is.
So obviously, not only is the video format appealing, particularly to younger generations, but the way that he's talking about this issue in terms of breaking it down, asking for very specific and substantive remedies to address the problem that he is pointing out in such a concise way is really what is getting a lot of people's attention here. It's something that, may not have been on your radar, but now that he presents the issue as a problem to working class New Yorkers, it makes sense. If an event is being hosted in your city, if you live in that city, you should have access to it. You shouldn't be price gouged out just to make more money for a mega corporation like FIFA that has been convicted of corruption and putting greed over a game many, many times. So a very interesting perspective here from Zohran Mamdani. On the other hand, it really does seem like Andrew Cuomo is struggling to even find anything to rebuttal against Zohran Mamdani. The momentum that he has been able to build seems to have Cuomo grasping at straws here. Let's play this next clip.
I got a mention this morning, and I'm like, what the heliante? What the hell is going on? I got this. Andrew Cuomo's doing a press conference today, and apparently Andrew Cuomo has decided to play the association game. What has he thought about, attacking Zohran Mamdani over, who's the current frontrunner? His connections to a popular Twitch streamer who has been supporting him. It is pretty funny that America's most important city's mayoral race has gotten so completely out of control that they're basically trying to do internet beef. That is where we're at. As soon as I saw this, I immediately tweeted, "Great campaign, Mr. Cuomo."
Obviously, if you do not know who that is, neither do most people. That is Twitch streamer Hassan Piker, someone that the vast majority of New Yorkers are not familiar with. So to see Andrew Cuomo trying to play, as Mr. Piker says, the association game between who Zohran has spoken with or been interviewed by in the past really is starting to show a sense of desperation from the Cuomo campaign. But he's not the only one that is feeling the sense of desperation. We'll get into this in 1 second. Donald Trump, a couple of days ago, was also starting to voice his concern with Zohran Mamdani, but that is a consequence of a larger trend that we're seeing here in the United States, particularly among Democrats, but not exclusively with Democrats. Let's look at this right here. Democrats favor socialism over capitalism for the first time. So for those of you that may not be familiar, Zohran Mamdani considers himself to be a democratic socialist, similar to Bernie Sanders. This is the first time in the 15-year history of this poll that Democrats have shown their support for capitalism be lower than their support of socialism. This is something that, again, is not only having concerning alarm bells ringing off in the Trump administration, but it's also presenting some concerns for establishment Democrats who believe that the party should be heading in a more moderate direction, a more liberal direction, as opposed to a more progressive direction. Now, the candidate from New York City, Zohran Mamdani, is not running on a socialist platform, but he is running on a very progressive one, something that indicates, again, this transition in favorability from the current capitalist system to potentially a system that is different is there. And Donald Trump is not reacting very well to that at all. Let's watch this next clip.
Trump blasting the Democratic nominee, one of the Democratic nominees, Zohran Mamdani, as a communist. Take a listen.
No, I don't like to see a communist become mayor, I will tell you that. And I don't think you can win unless you have one-on-one, because somehow he's gotten a little bit of a lead. I have no idea how that happened, but I'd prefer not to have a communist mayor of New York City. And, that's what he is based on his policy, if you look at his statements in the past. So I would like to see two people drop out and have it be one-on-one. And I think that's a race that could be won.
Yeah, I'm sure that Donald Trump would like to see two people drop out and have it be a one-on-one. But again, as we mentioned earlier, even if that were to be the case, it's not looking too good for whoever that candidate would be. Presumably, that candidate would be Andrew Cuomo, as reports have been coming out in the past couple of days that the Trump administration is offering positions within the administration to both Sliwa and Adams. Again, this is a cause for concern for Donald Trump, and he's not reacting very well to it. Seems to be in a little bit of a panic mode. But with that being said, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already to stay up to date on more news. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.